are live. It is another episode of Who Do We Want to Be Today? Let's be Cruz Amigos, shall we? Shall we? And look, we are three today. We are the tres amigos. Uno, dos, tres. We are going to quiz this guy. Let's see where. Yeah, you are there. He is here. This is going to be great. He's not smiling. You know why he's not smiling, don't you?
We're going to grill him.
We're going to grill him. We are going to, but I got to get him up close here because you got to see Martin is not. Oh, he's trying to smile, but you know why he's not smiling, don't you?
He got off the boat.
That's Robbie the robot is nowhere near enough to make him one of them. What is it? Cranberry, juniper berry, Goshen berry, cocktail margarita, gin tonic, whatever things that he's having made for him. So let's introduce everybody. You get to be introduced first because you have been with us, not with us, and you're back. It's like a resurrection, and we are so happy. His name is Chillie Falls. He hails from somewhere on the east coast of North America. His ancestors actually came here in a boat, and that's what got him the boating fever.
Yeah.
I don't think they have as good a passage as you've had lately on boats.
I started right after the Mayflower.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, you were water skiing behind it, then your family, or how did that work?
We did a little body surfing.
Body surfing. You and the dolphins. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then why don't you go ahead now? Then you introduce.
All right. I'm Chillie Falls. I'm in Forest, Virginia. It's in Central Virginia. That's right a suburb of Lynchburg. And down below, the guy fingers never go in the right direction. That way. That's Martin. He's over there on the other side of the pond, and we are going to grill him today because he has been in absentia. He goes on a cruise and leaves us hanging. Martin, take it over. Martin's not talking now.
We don't hear you, Martin. We're not hearing you.
We have been hearing Martin. Now we're not hearing Martin. Uh-oh. Martin left us.
He did it again. So this is the MO of the third Cruz Amigo that we have had to put, we suffered with Pete for how long did we suffer with that guy named Pete?
Yeah.
And I say that jokingly, of course, but and so.
We had this problem with Martin on the cruise, if you recall, when he was live streaming.
I think he's doing it again.
So anyway, he disappeared. And Jack's with us from down in Conroe, Texas. Jack, good to see you again, my friend.
Yeah, he commented last week too, and I didn't get his last ones in there.
Yeah.
Are you sure it's not Conroe, Texas? I think they just spelled it wrong.
Okay, I don't know. I have no idea.
I think
so. While we're trying to get Martin back so we can grill him.
I see Martin.
There comes Martin.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yeah, I tried to give you a hard time and you disappeared on me.
Oh, geez. Do you know what? It's old people and technology, isn't it? You know what I mean? So I just can't.
The youngest guy in the group, and he's going, it's old people and technology.
Yeah.
Oh, no. So, yeah, you're right. I do need a hard time. I was lucky enough to go on that first cruise. I know we tried to bring you some of it, but it sort of things didn't pan out as it should be because of the internet and things like that. But there's lots of videos out there on my page that you can have a look at. But yeah, grill me, guys. Ask me anything. I've got more cruises booked. I'm off on one in just over 2 weeks on Anthem of the Seas for 2 nights, and then we're off on. Well, I'll tell you about it. Our Apex one is now cancelled because we can't get flights out there. So we're now not going on Apex, but we're going back on MSC Virtuosa again for a week this time. And then we've got Scarlet Lady 6th of August. So, yeah, a busy time for me in terms of, bringing all these videos to everybody. It's all hard work. Really it is. But at least to get back on the ocean waves.
That's awesome. By the way, hello to Emily up in New York, and Nikki's with us down in Jacksonville. That's terrific that you've got a chance to go on some. I unfortunately can't get away from anything. I haven't figured out how to get away from the oxygen, and eventually I will figure that out, but I haven't figured it out yet. I would like to share a news story. I mean, you guys all know that I do a news show on 11 o'clock every day now, except Sunday. I didn't do one today.
Eastern.
But there is, that's Eastern Daylight Time. There's a news story today that I wanted to share with you guys. Now, I'm an old-fashioned reporter. I mean, when I started back, we used to have to do everything right. You had to get confirmation of everything you reported. There was none of this misinformation and phony stories. But the story today, I have been endeavoring to confirm it, and I've had difficulty. And quite frankly, it's a fishy story. U.S. lobsterman.
We're a cruise reporting service, and you're giving us a fishy story.
I am giving us a fishy story, and it's about a lobster fisherman up off the coast of Massachusetts. Now, Martin doesn't know where that is. John, it's directly east of you. If you go east about 1,000 miles, you'll get there.
Hey, I've been scrawed in Boston, man.
But a lobster fisherman was scooped up in the mouth of a humpback whale and then spat out.
Jesus.
Now,
he
says
this
dude says he was in the closed mouth for 30 to 40 seconds before the humpback whale rose to the surface and spat him out. That's what the dude's name is, Michael Pollock.
He's a Pollock.
And he's stated this on Facebook. And of course, everything on Facebook is true.
No, but
all of a sudden, I felt this huge shove, and the next thing I knew, it was completely black. Well, I guess so if you're down in the mouth of a humpback whale. He was about 35 feet down, and his first thought was that he'd been attacked by a shark. Well, it wasn't a shark. There were no shark bites. It was a whale. He said he saw the light. Now, to give some proof to the story, Jokey Robbins, who's director of the humpback whale studies at the Center for Coastal Studies in Provincetown, Massachusetts, supposedly somebody that neither drinks nor smokes marijuana, said, "I didn't think it was a hoax because I knew the people involved, so I have every reason to believe that what they say is true," she told the newspaper. "I was informed that Packard ate a huge plate of pasta with a lot of garlic the night before." Now, I have been unable to reach the whale for confirmation of this story, but that's today's news, folks.
Are you buying it?
Sure.
No. You're giving us a little bit of a like the Onion kind of a tilt on it.
Obviously the pasta garlic, the guy tasted like crap, and the whale went, you're done, dude.
No, I do like pasta garlic, so there's a couple of things in there that just don't tie right, aren't there? Do you know what I mean? Name a Pollock. The other one, Joe Key.
What can I say, folks? Don't kill the messenger. I'm just delivering the news.
Jeez, I don't know. if it is true, good on him, he survived, you know what I mean? But it's one hell of a ride, that, though, isn't it? Being spat out of a whale mouth. And
35 foot down, too. That one.
Well, you know.
Wait, let's take it apart now here. Which kind of a diver was he? Did he have a scuba gear on, or was he a free-floating diver?
Now, there you go, asking questions that wasn't covered by the Cape Cod Times. Now, the Cape Cod Times Maybe their reporters don't ask those kind of questions.
Well, but okay, then let's go either way. I believe that there are divers that are floating, that are swimming along the coast, that are snorkel divers that do get down 35 feet.
Well, that's pretty pushing it for.
Yes, but I mean, but they
without gear.
They have lead around their waist, and they get down there. They want to see the coral and the things.
Now those oyster divers,
well,
and they go without any
they go
gear.
harder than that.
They go down deeper than that, but they're those little Polynesian dudes. They're not this Polak guy from Provincetown, Massachusetts.
Oh, are you alliterating now that it's a pretty portundous Polak from Provincetown? Is that where you're going with this?
Sounds good to me.
Jeez.
I think it happened. I believe that Nikki's saying, I read an article that said he had an oxygen source. See, Nikki's on our team here. Thank you.
There we go.
Yeah.
She probably read the whole article and I gave up on it just past the
I believe
no sharks.
The 30 seconds might not be, but I think that, first of all, I don't think the whale's gullet. No. I just think he spit it out because that's too big for the swallowing.
A humpback whale. In all seriousness, folks, a humpback whale has a big mouth, sucks in a lot of stuff, but the throat is very small.
Right. And
so actually, a humpback whale is not going to swallow a human.
That's what I mean.
It can't go down. There's not enough space.
And it all makes sense to me. He got something in his mouth. With his tongue, he realized, this is, it's just like when you get a popsicle stick.
Yeah, but he could have gnawed on him a while.
Well, but I think he just,
that's where the garlic came in. Is that the humpback whale didn't want to gnaw.
Yeah.
Gag reflex, maybe.
Okay, Emily's going to check it out. She's on her way to Cape Cod, so we'll get a first person reporting by next week. So
is she going to?
I got to take your name on it. This being the worker bee here is tough. There, better. Okay.
Is Emily going to Cape Cod in her kayak?
Oh, are we?
She was in her kayak all day yesterday.
Was she?
Yeah. Seriously, that's a hell of a kayak from Emily, where Emily is in New York to Provincetown.
Okay, now let's get back because too many people on the thing. Anyway, the question is we want Martin's firsthand touchy-feely story about the boat that he was on, and is it worth the money? The Scarlet Pumpernickel. No, what were you on here now? The Apedia, the Miragia,
the beautiful brand new MSC Virtuosa was the one that we were on.
The Virtuosa. By the way, before we do that, I got to tell you that my cousin's son met Richard Branson last week.
Wow.
Yeah, how about that? Apples. You like them apples?
So that's good.
Well, that has nothing to do with the Virtuoso. That's the Scarlet Lady. You're getting your cruise lines mixed up.
Hey, you're on one boat. They have a pointy front end and they go at the back. What more do you want? Anyway,
exactly. One big cruise family.
We're back to the big B. So,
well, yeah, Virtuoso. What can I say? The protocols, the procedures, everything went smoothly and swimmingly. Excuse the pun, but we literally, from the minute we arrived at the terminal, an hour and 15 minutes from queuing to get in, we had our insurance checked. For COVID cover, we had our inoculations checked, or if you'd had a COVID test 3 days before, that was checked before you went any further. They then took your luggage and sprayed it. And then you went through and did normal security. Then you queued up to be put into a group of people to have a swab test, one up the nose. And then you did your normal checking, got your wristband and your key card and all your bump. And then you sat there for literally, it must have been 8-10 minutes by the time we'd done that, and our group was cleared to board, and then we were straight on the ship. Really easy process, very, very well done. I know there was only, I think it was 970. It was less than 1,000 anyway, so to check in, but it was very slick, very well done. And considering it was the first one that the port had done, really impressed. And then got on the ship. You have to wear your mask when you're moving around the ship. So that was, you know, if you didn't have it on, you were told. And, you know, and a couple of times I forgot, like you do. It's like, oh, God, it's in my pocket, or I've left it on the table. Let's go back and get it. Brilliant. The ship itself is amazing, absolutely beautiful. Holds 6,334, I think, at maximum capacity, if every bed was full. But even though there was only 1,000 on it, it was really, they really pulled all the stops out to make it really enjoyable and fun, entertaining, you know. And the only complaints I would have, and it's not really a complaint, but bear in mind that these staff, it's their very first cruise since, well, 14 months, you know, some of them even longer if the contracts had ended previously. The only complaint we really had was we tried to get a Bloody Mary in the show bar, and it took 30 minutes because they had no tomato juice in that bar at that point. You had to go down and get tomato juice. Then you had no salt and pepper. You had to go and get salt and pepper. And then you had no celery. And it was that was the only major complaint I'd have. And it's not anybody listening, it is not a complaint in any shape or form. It's just, it happened. You know what I mean? So that if that's the only thing I complain about on a whole cruise, I don't think that's bad. You know, so I mean, if you want to quiz me on anything, guys, you know, jump in at any stage and ask me anything.
I have to ask you a question that's has to do with the Virtuoso.
Yeah.
I also saw come on, tongue. I saw that you posted on your Facebook page about a cruise coming up that's like 157 pounds.
197 pounds.
190. It was ridiculously cheap.
It is. It's the P&O Britannia for 3 nights on the 8th of July. Inside cabin, 199 pounds and 197 pounds. Sorry, and then you can upgrade to a balcony for another 100, 120, depending whether you want obstructed or unobstructed. It's a bargain. You know, there's some really good deals at the moment. The only reason is they just want to fill to the capacity that they need to get to. Because they need to make some money back. They've lost billions over this pandemic. So the more capacity people to get on board, you know, we'll all spend a little bit extra on board, even though we've got our food and everything included. We'll always do a little bit of shopping, or we might buy a drink outside the drinks package or specialty dining, you know, so the better. But yeah, that is the best deal I've seen in terms of price. But then again, you look at some of the other prices out there, Chillie, there's some amazing deals out on these staycations. There really are. And it's not that they've knocked the prices down, because the prices have stayed quite stagnant. You know, like you'll get the cruise lines in the area, they'll knock the prices really down low. They've stayed quite stagnant because the sales are amazing. I mean, MSC have increased fourfold in their staycations in the last 4 weeks, you know, in the number of people booking, because over here in the UK, we were not allowed to travel. Portugal was taken off the green list. You know, there's 2 places you can go to, Iceland, and I think it's Gibraltar. You know, they're the main ones, but they're not tourist places, not this time at the minute. But testing and things like that, what can you do? Well,
you can only eat so much whale fat, and then it just isn't a real thrill after, you know, Iceland, you know.
Either that or the whale eats you, but according to the news lately.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about me.
No. Actually, it's shark fat. Actually, Iceland has one of their known for in the world things is they ferment shark for some years, and it's a real thing to eat over there, and it tastes really a little bit to the left of puke. And there is no amount of alcohol that you can follow it with that takes the taste away, and yet they serve it in many restaurants over there as one of their absolutely supreme delicacies, and it's like, and people eat it.
Well, it's really good that Royal Caribbean, to get back on the cruise thing and away from whale fat. I realize everybody wants to talk about whale fat, but yesterday we had Adventure of the Sea sail from Nassau. Had about 1,000 passengers on it, and we got a bunch of our friends that are on that. I was hoping to have one of them pop in today, and that nobody's gotten back to me yet. But that sailed from Nassau. Of course, we had a tough ending to the Celebrity Millennium. But I think it's worth pointing out.
I didn't hear the story. What happened? So 2 people out of 1,000 test positive.
Midweek, there was
what did they do?
2 people got a midweek cruise test and tested positive. Now, the one thing that I don't know, and I can't ask because the privacy issues there, I have no idea if this was husband and wife, mother, daughter, father, son, male, female, male, female. It was a couple in a cabin. Both tested positive midweek.
Yeah.
Now, they all had been vaccinated because this was a required vaccination cruise. Mm-hmm. They all passed the test to get on board at the start of the cruise. And still, the 2 people tested positive. They immediately started into the procedures to contact trace. As a matter of fact, one of my friends that I interviewed earlier in the week was actually on a excursion with them in Barbados. So they asked her to remain in her cabin and gave her another test, asked her to remain in her cabin until the results came back. That was Thursday afternoon. By 10:30 Thursday night, I had heard from Ashley that she had tested negative and was free back to normal. So she was in her cabin for 4 or 5 hours while they were actually conducting the test. By the time they got back to St. Martin, remember this was a cruise that sailed from St. Martin and back, and went to Barbados, and then went to Curacao, and went to Aruba, and an eastern southern swing. By the time it got back to St. Martin Saturday morning, everybody on board had been tested again, and everybody was negative at that point. Now, that doesn't go to say that you could still test positive for several days. But at that point, everybody on board except the 2 people were negative. And those 2 people had to remain in St. Martin until they test negative again. So they can't go jump on a plane and come home infected. They have to wait it out there. So it goes to show this was a good learning lesson on several things. One, the most important thing is for all of us when we get our trip insurance to make sure that that insurance covers COVID.
Yeah.
So that like this couple in St. Martin, they've got to put up with a week, 2 weeks, who knows, in a motel or something until they can get cleared to fly back out.
Not their choice, by the way.
That's not their choice.
No, but I mean,
so the insurance then would pick that up.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is really important on this, it points out that these vaccines are not 100% effective. That all the literature and stuff is 95, 96, 94. There's still a little wiggle room there that shows that you're not 100% effective. Well, duh. Mm-hmm. So it's possible that any of it, I mean, I could go out to dinner tonight and I could contract from a person at the next table, even though that I am fully vaccinated.
And they are.
And they could be vaccinated as well. Sure. And I could still get it. The chances are, if it happens, it's going to be a very mild case.
Yeah.
But still, it happened. I don't find that, other than I find it disappointing because I wanted this to be another clean cruise like the Virtuoso was. It wasn't. But they didn't do anything wrong. And it points out their protocols worked. Because you didn't have an outbreak of 100 cases. You had 2 people in one cabin And everybody else, by the time they left that ship 3 days later, everybody else had tested negative and is back home. So I didn't get all that upset about this, other than it was. I'm sad that it happened, but it's going to happen in the future again, folks.
Yeah, it is. And to be honest with you, when if you do your tests before you get on the ship, that just means at that point you didn't have COVID. And It takes between 2 to 14 days for COVID to show, so you can be asymptomatic for quite an amount of time.
You could do the whole cruise. You can fly back home, and only then do you kind of come down with symptoms.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we've had it. We had COVID. So myself and my husband, very, very mild. We were lucky. But we've had it where you've got your app. We have an app over here, and if you've been near somebody who tests positive, you then get a notification to say you've been near somebody who's tested positive. You should self-isolate for 10 days. You mightn't have it, and you can't even get tested to release yourself. They won't allow you to do that. Yeah. So you're meant to self-isolate. It's a whole new world, and I think we're being overcautious right across the world, because there's certain things. Now's the time to start to live with this, because we're never going to eradicate it ever. It's not going to go. It's not going to go. And if we do the things we're doing now for the rest of our lives, it's just going to be no life to live. I don't want to wear a mask for the rest of my life. I don't want to be walking around or socializing with people the way you should do and things like that. Although on the ship we did get to socialize, which was beautiful. Sat eating meals and talking to people and having a drink, and but hey, we're here. So we're here to live the tale. And
one of the differences between the Virtuoso and the Celebrity Millennium is they had no mask requirement on board the Celebrity Millennium. Once you pass the test going on and your proof of vaccination, you were free on the ship to go as you wanted until the folks tested positive. And then those that were in contact with them went back to wearing the mask.
Yeah, it's quite a contract.
And I don't think Adventure from Nassau, I don't think there's any mask requirement once they are on board the ship. None whatsoever.
Yeah, there's not. Well, it's all different countries have got different rules and regulations. It's such a minefield. I mean, as I said, we were meant to be going on the Apex, and one of the things that did put us off was you have to wear a mask indoors and outdoors. And we're like, the breathing being outdoors and things, I thought that's just walking around the streets, sat by the pool. It just wouldn't be enjoyable. Whereas MSC, they're saying no, you can actually sit by the pool, so, and you don't have to wear your mask. Can you imagine coming back with a tan with little marks across there?
Now you know how girls feel. Now you know how girls feel all the time.
But no, I mean, do you know what, guys? I mean, I'll say one thing, that what's happened has been awful the last 15 months. Where every life is important that has passed away, and God bless them all. But we need to move on. We need to start to live again, because, forget COVID, and I'm probably going off on a tangent here, but people's mental health is killing people more. So it's time that, we listen to what we've got to do, abide by the rules, let's move on. Let's start to live our lives again. And one thing, let's get Chillie and John on a bloody cruise soon.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that.
Definitely need you on a cruise. But anyway, guys, if anybody wants to ask any questions about Virtuosa or anything cruise-wise about what's going on, I'm happy to answer.
My big question, and I think it's obviously you're going to come back with, that's kind of an individual choice, but I think, and you of course have a little more responsibility as a travel agent, but some of the new ships and the new prices that are coming out, at least here and out of the Bahamas, it is not 90s pricing anymore, no matter what, even though there's great deals and you're finding them, but it's not like it used to be. Ronnie and I, not even in the 90s, just 5 years ago, Ronnie and I flew from Minnesota, and just maybe you don't know that, flying out of here is expensive no matter what. So we flew out of Minnesota, spent the night in Miami, did a week on Carnival and flew home, and the whole trip was less than $2,000.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing. I mean, it's almost $2,000 to fly to Miami now for the two of us. It's like $880 a piece. So
I think,
so the question is for you, is it better to go on one cruise at these new higher ship costs, or to find a little more older? For me, I'd rather find an older ship. I want to be on the water. I don't need to have the newest carpet and the newest ride that goes way up there and comes down and everything. I'd just rather have a nice purser and some nice food and hear the slap of the waves against the side of the boat. So what do you do when someone says, well, should we go on 2 or should we go on 3?
Do you know what, guys? It's a very personal choice, I think, for people. For me, sometimes I'll look at the destination. If it's a destination I want to go to, like example, Apex we've cancelled because of what's going on. We've managed to find something on Celebrity Beyond next year in May. Now, we were in a suite on the Apex. Can't afford £10,000 for a suite on Beyond, but we're going to go for a sunset veranda. But we're going to go to the likes of Mykonos and Santorini, Rhodes, all the places we've not been to and we want to do on a cruise. So that's important to us on that one. But I like to get on the new ships. I like to experience to see, well, actually, I like that one because that was really good. But then when I go on the older ships, I think, well, actually, I like this because it's a bit more traditional. It's a personal choice for people whether do you want to try that new? I mean, it's what it's like. As soon as a ship is launched or a date is launched,
it's that new car fever. Got to smell a new car. Sure.
But I'll say one thing: being the first on, one thing that we did think about, which is quite funny. Nobody had slept in my bed on a Virtuoso, and I was the first person to sleep in it. So that was quite nice. Yeah. Can you imagine you get on 2 years later, how many people have been on that mattress? But it's personal choice, guys. It really is. And I think what people are going to have to realize for the next 2 to 3 years, the prices you probably saw pre-pandemic, you're probably not going to see for a little while. They've got a lot to make up. Same with airlines. A lot of airlines have cut capacity and frequency of flights. We're finding there'd be a flight every day to Rome out of Manchester. We're having to go for 2 or 3 nights before to try and tie it all in, because they cut the schedules down for 2022, and they probably won't. I think it'll be 2023, back end of 2023, Q4, before we'll see any of the levels that we've seen previously. And that just is demand. And we've seen that with the cruise lines, how they're starting staggering when the cruise ships are coming back into service. Some not back until 2022, because although the demand may be there, it's like we have to get the staff in, we have to still pay them. And we've got to get that money in to pay them and look after the ships, redo them, repaint them. I mean, have you seen some of the ships in the UK? They've been bobbing around the channel. They need a good old paint job, before they set sail, because they are looking a little bit rusty from the seawater. But they'll get done. It'll all be done. But that all costs money, and they've got to get that money in. And I'm doing short break UK cruises at the prices that they are is not going to pay that for, so. But they've just done it and got everybody cruising in. They've done well with it, I think. So the next one, the next one is Royal and Celebrity, P&O, and the next ones that go. And then followed by Princess. So there's a few. Actually, who's sailing? No, tell a lie. Viking sailing as well. I didn't miss Viking now. They're sailing currently. And then August, the last one will be Virgin, who'll be sailing. So we're getting there. And you guys have got Adventure, you've got Millennium. And then you've got a lot more coming up in the next couple of months, haven't you? Now,
all of those that are sailing from Southampton. They're just British Isles cruises.
Yeah. So
you're not going other places yet.
Just the UK at the moment till September. And they've got, some of them are not stopping anywhere. They're just going to head for the sun, like they did on ours. The captain found the sun a couple of days. But with some of the others, they will stop, like the one we're booked for Virtuoso for July for Stan's birthday. That's going to stop in Portland and Belfast. Okay. But some of them are stopping in Liverpool, Some of them are just coastal cruises. But to be honest, most of the people are just happy to be back on it, especially season cruises. They're just happy to be cruising. But what it's actually doing at the moment is bringing new to cruise people who have never cruised before.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the one reason why. It costs more in the UK to go on a holiday in the UK for a family than it does to go on one of these cruises. And that's what people are finding. They're just such good value. You get to experience a brand, a ship, and they go, do you know what? I'll book maybe for next year for the Mediterranean or the Caribbean.
Did Scotland ever change their position on stopping the ships from going into Scotland?
Still in place at the moment. It's I believe there's lots of negotiations going on with Antonio Paradiso from MSC. Again, it's just like there's no rhyme or reason to it. I mean, they're letting 6,000 people come in to the Euros, the football, into a stadium with no tests, but you can't allow 900 to 1,000 people to get off in a bubble on an excursion that are not going to go anywhere else apart from that excursion and then come back on the ship. And it's all to do with the levels. I think they've got to be at level 1 before they allow it. Will it change? Fingers crossed, because there's a lot of cruises that are stopping there. And Saga's Inaugural has now been changed from Scotland to down the south coast, Falmouth and things like that. So they're going to lose a lot of tourist business. And even the Scottish people are up in arms about it. They have people who were on that cruise last Tuesday. Well, it should have been the Wednesday. No, sorry, Monday. They should have sailed it came in Monday. Trying to work it out now. Came in Sunday, should have sailed Monday, but didn't till the Tuesday. Yeah. They coach people down to get on the ship that wanted to do it, or they could have a refund. But there's lots of people who've got them cruises booked because it's like, great, we can sail from Scotland, great, we can sail from Liverpool, places that have got fantastic ports that have not had that before. So it could really sting the tourism and the economy in. It really could. Oh, hello.
Hello. That's John after he lost some weight.
Yeah.
But it's a fast moving. Things change and things like that. So, how did you do that? That was really clever. That.
Oh, that's my other camera. That's where I set up for today's show, and I forgot to turn it off. It's so I can bring it in. But that's my dog in the living room. She's looking for me out the window. She's waiting for me to come back. So.
I think we should swap.
By the way, Cindy.
Well, it's another one down on the line.
Cindy Lee is with us. She's canceled and rescheduled so many cruises, and prices are much higher on her reschedule. She was disappointed with having to postpone a Mediterranean cruise until next year, but did it before prices soared. Want to be able to enjoy every port. Awesome.
Yeah, Cindy, I agree
and
with you.
Cindy Lee is, she has a long name that's this long and starts with DJK something. I could never even dream of pronouncing. It's beyond my comprehension.
Yeah.
But anyway, welcome, Cindy Lee.
Well, Cindy, I mean, we're the same. I've lost count. I mean, I've tried 4 times to get on Celebrity Apex now, and not managed to do it. So I'm giving up on Apex. I'm working on Beyond because it's the next newest ship. But what you're saying there about the prices, the problem you've got is everybody from 2020 moved to 2021. Now 2021 got cancelled. So you've now got 2020 and 2021 moving into 2022. So all the availability is getting taken up. And as we all know, these cruise lines, the airlines, the price, as it gets fuller and fuller, the prices go up. And that's what's happening. The prices are rising, and it's just going to be one of those things. So I always say to people, if you see a price, if you're happy with that price, book it there and then. Get yourself booked in. You're going then, because you'll have one or two things. You'll either have no availability, or the price will be too high, or your cabin that you want won't be available, the grade or whatever. So it's one of them. If you're looking to book, guys, book as soon as you see the prices. And I will say it, and guys, I'll say it, book with a travel agent, support them.
Oh.
Don't do it yourself, and don't book that.
I can't tell you, I'm still outside agents. We've had Dan on before you were around, Martin, but Dan is the back office for 4,000 agents here in America, and they have a chat room, and I'm still watching that chat room, and the stories that the agents are putting up there, because they'll like do an 8-person group, but there'll be one more couple that said, no, we're going to book it ourselves. And then somehow those people's problems get dumped on them as the agent for the other group. And they're just stuck out there, these people. And it's like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm not your agent. I can't, yeah, but. No, and it's not no buts. I can't help you. I can't talk to your business development manager. I can't, talk to those people at that big giant square building that you signed into on the internet. And well, I can't reach anybody there.
And most people, your thought is, if I go through a travel agent, it's going to cost me more money. No, it doesn't. It costs you exactly the same as if you were doing it yourself. And the way I always equated it was, okay, yes, I could call Carnival and book a cruise myself. Could do it. The one time out of 50 cruises that you have a problem, when you need to be able to contact somebody to work you from the outside, then it's worth all of it. But it doesn't cost you a penny more. So I always have gone with a travel agent. So I've got that contact, right there. If I need him, he's there.
That's it. I mean, a travel agent is your travel agent, and they book your holiday or anything, your vacation. But as you say, Chillie, as soon as you need them, they're on the end of the phone and they're fighting for you, and maybe a couple of others if they've got on that cruise line, rather than you trying to get into a phone line with 200, 300, 400 people.
Yep.
They're on. Yeah, or that. Well, at the moment, it's millions, because if you imagine how many cruise passengers there are that have been cancelled. So, and you're right, we don't charge anything. We get paid from the cruise lines. That's where we get our money from.
I blame the airlines for doing this. When they cut out commissions for travel agents, that's when in my opinion, that's when the whole business went to HE double toothpicks. Because I don't know if folks that are listening know, but I don't know how many years ago now, but the airlines decided we're too important. We're not going to work with travel agents anymore. And that's when all of these internet places came online, because they figured out another way to squeeze some profit out of it by working with the masses. And that's when people thought, I can do this online. Here's the perfect example of when you can't, folks, because travel agents have what's called a BDM, a business development manager, and you can't call them. But Martin and other people who are in the business can, and they're the only ones that call. If you call, I know this because I booked flights this week for my kids to come for my birthday party. And if you call Delta right now, do you know what it says, Martin? We're experiencing difficulties, and your call may be on hold a little longer than expected. Currently, the call time is over 9 hours.
Wow.
9 hours. And you're on a cell phone. That's a hoot and a holler, huh?
Yeah, it's hard. I think it is hard. All these companies are going through a very painful time. It is painful because they've got hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world calling them. Whereas, I've got all my clients and they'll call me and they'll say, I need this, or I want to change to this. I can either do it on the system for them, boom, 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 and away you go, or I'll sit in a queue. And we've got direct lines and things like that where we can get through on different numbers. It's not we're still in quite a big of a queue, I'll be honest with you, but we can try and get things sorted. And we've got chat services with most of the cruise lines now. So some stuff we can do via live chat that you guys haven't got. You haven't got access to that, but anyway, that's me barking on about being a travel agent. But anyway, let's get back to cruises.
9 hours. You could, what you do is you place the call, then you go to bed. Then you have a nice long sleep, and you get up and have a nice leisurely breakfast, and then you go back and you wait for
pick up the phone. Jack says he was fortunate to have booked the Royal Caribbean at a great rate for December 2020. The lift and shift policy allowed him to move that to February 2022.
Wow.
Keep the same balcony, same itinerary at the same rate. That's awesome, Jack. Unfortunately, you hit it just right. Because a lot of people have not been that lucky with their rebooks. Emily managed to book NCL Prima for 2022, booked a balcony over a suite. She's concerned about Canada still in a lockdown. Yeah, Canada's lockdown, the latest date I heard from them was February 2022 is they're going to be locked down until then. So I'm not sure exactly what day in February, but that's now the back end of it. So they're going to be shut down for a full year.
Emily, here, people drive to the border. It's like a tennis fence. And people on both sides drive to the border and talk to each other over the border.
Wow.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Cindy says getting the best deals with Carnival right now, liking them, adding the Cheers package now with an RU code, splurge on an 8-day Havana Cabana to
South Caribbean
on Horizon. Oh, on Horizon, yeah. Same price on NCL Sky for 7-day. Nice.
There's some good cruises there. Some really nice cruises coming out.
Oh, yeah.
Wait till 2023. I don't even know if I'm going to live that long.
Yeah. Well, she's a young chick. She's young enough to be our granddaughter.
There's a question for our travel agent. What happens? I book on 2023 and I do pass away in 2022. What is that? Just a quick gimme then for the cruise lines?
No, it can go to your estate, so they can get a refund. It's a way they can request.
That's what I mean. You just provide the death certificate, and it's a cash out. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. It's a long-winded process. Say long-winded. It's a certain process by law that they have to do.
But your estate manager just files papers, and it's not like you have to go. I mean, we can't send the body for the last cruise, sort of like a
push you off the back.
Well, yeah, I mean, you walk the plank one last time, So.
God, no. Emily's 46. Really? God, she doesn't look. I was just about to say I'm old enough to be a granddad, but no, she's the same age as me. I'm 47 this year.
You're just a youngster. By the way, you're invited to my birthday party.
I'm surprised. I figured Emily was younger than that too.
I did too. I thought she was. I thought, yeah, Emily. You look so much younger.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Tell us your secret, Emily.
She behaves. No, she doesn't.
And
she walks dogs a lot.
Yeah, she's out walking and a lot of grape juice. Later, wow. Processed grape juice. She drinks a lot of processed grape juice. So
it can't be the drink. I mean, I've been drinking for many, many, many years, and I'm starting to look my age now. Although looking tonight, I look really young.
You're looking good. Looking good. I was saying the mask protocol probably doesn't help. It doesn't hurt you though. It's better to have that mask on in public. So
Oh God, no,
John, you were working on something for today.
I just wanted to show you that I'm not just doing nothing. I got to see if I can make this page work for me here. I came across, I'm collecting organs and pianos for a good cause. We're trying to recycle them and put them in the hands of children to learn on, because I don't know how it is over in the European area, but kids are way more interested in this little thing that makes music than they are in real things that make music. Right now on Facebook Marketplace, there is 250 pianos to give away. And a lot of them say if it's not taken by Friday, it's going to the landfill. We have talked to people like a day too late where organs that we could have sold in the right place, we know where there's places to sell them for $6,000, $7,000. And the folks said, I just got back from the landfill and watched a caterpillar drive over it. And I'm not sad about that because I could have made the money on it. I'm sad about that because there's people that I know that would just have they can't afford $6,000 for a Hammond B3. But by God, they'd have driven here with a trailer and they'd have given their eye teeth to be able to own a Hammond. That's what you see in the nightclubs and stuff, that jazz organ. They'd have done anything to get one, and they can't afford it, and they've been begging for one for years. And this guy's telling me I watched a caterpillar drive over it.
Jeez.
And so that's where I went a month or so ago, Chillie. I drove down to Iowa to pick one up because the church just gave it to me. And so I happened upon a player piano 10 days ago with 120 rolls. And usually you're thinking it's going to be junk or it's going to be whatever. This thing is like it came out of the showroom.
Wow. It's
unbelievable. And I think if I can figure out now here how to, I got to figure out how to do it. But
This is going to be fun, Chillie. John trying to work things out.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. I mean, here you can hear it playing here. It's just and I've got like 120 rolls that are like, all some of them are as late as The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Wow.
So the irony is I did pay a little bit money for it. They just felt they had to get something. They weren't going to give it away. But the rolls randomly on the internet are worth $10 a piece. So there's $1,200. If I could throw the piano away and make $1,200. But I've got I took it apart last night, and it's like it doesn't have a scratch on it. If you polished it up, it was showroom ready, and it's just amazing. Like I said, there's 120 pianos that if I had a big enough truck, I could just go in 2 days. I could collect 120 pianos that people, and they're nice pianos. This is not crap stuff. They're nice.
And there's compartments in there that you can hide some of that marijuana too.
Thank you for broadcasting that publicly. Thank you. Take away all my ideas, Chillie. You take away everything. It's just sad to me because I'm a music lover, and I believe that kids are better kids if they grow up learning to play music. All the sports that they have are great, but you graduate from high school and you start drinking beer, and that kind of leaves you. But if you learn to play an instrument, maybe you then don't play it for a while, but at some point in your life, you sit down at a piano, or you pick up a guitar, or you play a violin again, and there's a certain soul benefit to it, in my humble opinion. And I think others agree. And that's ending in the United States. And it's a sad, sad thing. Grandma died and nobody plays the piano.
Wow.
I can still sit down. I could go right in the living room and sit down and play Prelude in C sharp minor by Rachmaninoff. Now I can't play anything else, but damn it, I can play that.
I think
I would have prescribed that you play that every day, because it's no, I'm telling you, it's good for the neurons in your brain, and it's good for your eye-hand coordination, and it's good for people anyway, but it's good for people that have gone through what you're going through. And I tell you, you should go in there and play it once a day. And I'm sorry, Dr. John here, but.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not musical at all. I mean, I played a recorder once and couldn't do that. And then I tried playing a guitar, couldn't learn that. So I just gave up after that. It's like I just can't do it. I love listening to music. I love listening to piano, jazz, you name it, any music. And it is good for the soul, sat there listening to a piece of music. It just.
But then your job is to support it in others. That's your job. Yeah. We all have our jobs. So
we all do. We all do.
God, so, but no, I'm just a big music guy, and one of my missions here right now in the music barn, which we are calling the Temple, by the way. And when we get it all fixed up, I'll actually be doing shows from the Temple. Well, one end's the Temple, and one end is going to become the Spa.
The Spa.
The spa. It will have a hot tub and sauna.
You're going to have a hot tub in there with the player piano.
No. There's a big division between the two sides. But
I was going to say, I want to mix the two.
But the temple will be a place of music and just a happy place with every kinds of drum in it, and just a place for people to come and gather. And because I believe it touches your soul. And it's really funny, because if I was a music director on a ship, I would have music that much more touched people's hearts and souls than that tinky plinky stuff that every ship seems to want to fill a couple of corners with people that, in my mind, they would be doing way better to have somebody playing really nice recorded music that people could really listen to and fit the mood, rather than what they do. But that's just me.
Yeah, but then on a ship, what I love is, like, of an evening, is you get your first cocktail, you go into the atrium, and there's always somebody there with a piano or a quartet, and you sit there and you just ease into the evening, and you can really relax when you go for your dinner and things.
And MSC to me is way better than other lines in doing that. Every MSC ship that I've been on in the atrium has like a piano, violin, cello, or some live music of quality. I don't know what it was like on your last one, but they've always given me the music that I want. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they had a pianist and a singer down. She was singing as well. And
but that's quality music. Then that's not plinky plink. So
celebrity do it as well. Whenever we've been on like the newer ships, the Solstice class ships, before the Edge class, because I'm not sailed on an Edge class yet, unfortunately. But on the Silhouette class, you used to always find of an evening, you know, in the lobby area, there'd always be somebody playing some form of live music. And you're right, it does. It's really nice to do that, you know, of an evening. So before you go and do all your head banging and disco dancing and shows and things, you know, it just makes you feel nice. And let's be honest, even in the dining room, if you hear that music, it's very calming music, really sweet, and you know, it just eases you in.
You know, you can play. You know, I don't know about where you are, but you know, the plinky plink music is available everywhere. I can get that even in Crookston, Minnesota. But I pay money to go on a ship. I want to have a little quality, and MSC has come through for me. NCL is better. It's better than when I first started going on the ship. I think they've upped their musical commitment. I don't know about you, Chillie, but
Holland America I found to be superb.
I would expect. I've not been in Holland, but I would expect that. There's no reason to put lobster out in the food if you're not having great music. So I would just expect that from them. MSC always came through for me. Carnival, it's a carnival.
Carnival's a party ship.
Carnival, you know. And don't look for, you know, there's no reason to carry a clutch purse for a lady on a Carnival ship. I mean, I'm sorry, just leave it at home. But it is what it is. And I hate that line. Never, always punish me when I use that line. But, you know, but that's why, again, I'm sorry I'm circling back, but that's why a travel agent can certainly advise people. Emily's got a big statement here now. What could she say? In high school, they wanted us, in junior high, they wanted us to play instruments. I tried the violin and the clarinet. Later in life, the piano. That was that. Well, Emily, you're doing your job by being a good listener and supporting someone else who plays. Everyone has a job. Jack says, you're all youngsters. I'll be 79 in September. Jack, that's true. But on the other hand, we're so close behind you now. Chillie is in 70-something, and it's my 70th birthday next month on the 30th. But the party's on the 31st, and it will be broadcast. You'll be able to watch it. So,
okay.
So we can't fly over. We can't fly over. Although Biden could come across here to Cornwall, can't he, without any quarantine restrictions and things, but hey ho, that's all news.
Now I was really worried today, and we're about out of time, so I'll make this quick. I was really worried today while President Biden and the dude with the fuzzy hat were out making sure that the shoes were polished of all those dudes out in the yard, and they left the Queen standing in the hot sun. Let the lady sit down. They had chairs right there. Let her sit down, for goodness sake. It was hot.
That's probably the Queen doesn't want to, because she's a tough old bird, is the Queen. You know, she does what she wants to do. You know, nobody tells her what to do. She's the Queen. So if she didn't want to sit down, I'm sure she wants to. She could have, but no. Do you know what? We'll all get to travel, and we'll all get to meet all our friends, and from years ago, more new friends we've made through the last 15 months on Zooms and other platforms that you may have been on. So we'll all get to meet up with people, and you know, we'll be back to normal very soon, I'm sure. So that will be it. You know, we can come across and see you, and we can all get on a cruise and go, do you know what? Thank the Lord for that. We're back on a cruise, and let's get a cocktail and let's enjoy. Yep. Whether that be alcoholic or non-alcoholic.
Awesome.
That's funny. All right, last words, Martin. We're at the end. You get to say something, and then we'll let what's his name there. And so Martin, last words today.
Last words, guys, is from me. It'd be stay safe. If you see a cruise you fancy, get it booked with your travel agent. let's all start to live our lives and let's enjoy life. That's what it's all for. So, and I'll just say thank you for having me on, guys, as always, and being part of it. Enjoyable. It may not be every week, but it is a little bit busy at the moment with different things. But I'll always bring things to you.
I can just say, folks, I am so glad to be back. That's just all there is to it. I love you guys. See you next week.
Chillie, always good. Martin, of course. Yeah, I know you're busy, and that's great, but that's why it's fun to have you on, because we got our pulse. We've got our fingers on the pulse of the business. Lucy is going to be happy. I'll be back over in the house really, really, really soon there. Somebody might be talking to her. That's great. Hey, guys, this is the Cruise Amigos. We meet here every Sunday because we want to share travel news with you. We're so happy when you're talking in the comments live. Believe it or not, we end up with thousands of people that see our show every week, and that's why it's really, really fun. So have yourselves a great week. Get out there, talk more about cruising. We know about the virus that's going around, that people wake up in the morning and they booked a cruise. Matter of fact, Martin had it last night, I heard. Or it could have been his husband. We don't know which one of them did it, but something happened overnight. That's it for the show for today. Have yourselves a great time, and we will see you back here 6 days and 23 hours. Until then,